Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another video. And today is a special episode of Plastic Party. I haven't been able to do one of these in a while. So I am literally getting this one in wherever I can. I'm trying to just help the people, and I promised more Plastic Party, and I'm trying to live up to that by bringing you one once a month, hopefully starting from this month forward. Just try to bring you one with some helpful tips, tricks, things like that. If I can bring you one once a month, then I think that I've done a good job. You know what I mean? So here I am starting for the month of April, because I missed January, February, March because I was moving, and there was no way in the world that was gonna happen. But today is going to be it's weird because I don't really plan these out. I just try to go by the topics that I can help you with. So I tell you what, because my wife is going to read the comments on this one. If you have an idea for things that can help you, please put it in the comments, because she will read them. And the thing that is obviously put out there the most, we'll try to cover. We'll even try to cover the little things. We'll just try. But yeah, I'm here to help you guys. And I've wasted my first minute talking. So yeah, I've put out a bunch of random toys to try to just cover all bases, all different types of things. There's kaiju, mecha, Mezco, Marvel Legends, Black Series, imports. Just try to cover it all, and if I don't have it out, it's off screen somewhere. But the main point of all this is that people, from what I've gotten, want help with posing, they want help with lighting, they want to know what kind of camera to buy, right? So let's try to do those three, right? First, let's go over camera stuff. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. You really don't need a crazy high-end camera. You really don't. And the reason why that is because, for the most part, good lighting, good backdrop, great composition of colors either way will help you with that. And it's wild because, right, like let's say having a bunch of crates. So we have, let's use Boss here. So we have Boss. We're gonna stand him up. I'm gonna use my extra phone to kind of show this off, right? And this goes into the other stuff like posing and anatomy, right? We're just gonna stand him up. We're gonna move some stuff out of the way. Oop, you almost fell, but I caught you. Let's just put these two crates right behind him, and let's just put Boss here, right? Then I'm gonna grab my extra phone, and then we're gonna, hold on, because I had to reset my phone. But yeah, so we're gonna grab the phone. We're gonna actually back him up so I can have a little bit of range, so I can show you guys. But gonna shoot in this mode, and as you can see with Boss, let's actually turn a little to the side so you guys can see. This is just on the phone, and we can see just with angles, composition, all I did was take a quick phone photo. This is because if you've light composition, like, you don't really need a camera. You don't. But let's say that you do want to do like the high-end camera stuff. You want a DSLR, you want a mirrorless camera. I can promise you, doing the research and doing with what like is suitable for you, not only your price range, but what you're willing to put the work into. I've seen a ton of people buy cameras and never ever use them because they're like, oh, it's overwhelming, it's too much, I don't want to learn this. It takes a lot of work to buy a camera and really put in the work. It's very important that you research something. If you're gonna go with a DSLR, why don't you get a starter camera? Start it off with autofocus. That way you can learn manual later, instead of trying to drop $2,000 on a manual lens and then you get frustrated. I don't think those are the things you should just jump right into. You should focus on research first. What do they call it? R&D, research and development. You can't develop if you don't research, right? And it's cool to go on the cheaper end of things and grow with what your budget can grow it. So if you grow out of your starter camera, you can get a new camera. Why the hell not? But there's no reason to jump straight into some high-end stuff knowing you won't put the effort and the work in. Photography, playing with toys, all of this is supposed to be fun. If you want to take your hobby to the next level, you have to put in the work for that. But it's still supposed to be fun. So if you're telling me you're gonna buy like this expensive camera for yourself and it's not fun, that's when you scale it back and just kind of reevaluate things. Trust me, it's always supposed to be fun before anything else. If it's not fun, it's not worth it. Plain and simple. The second it becomes dread and misery all the time, that's why people stop having fun, because they're looking for other reasons to try to escape versus trying to enjoy something. Hobbies, whether you're good or bad at it, are still supposed to be fun. That's it. If you want to look at this like a profession, that's a different story. But if it's a hobby, always fun, first and foremost. And I'm sorry for like really drilling that in, but I know a lot of people who don't realize, like, they tried to make it one way without looking at it the other ways. You got to look at it from every angle, right? And now, let's say you actually are going to get a camera. I get access all the time. What kind of camera do I have? I originally started out with a D5100. I believe now I'm at a D5600, which is not a crazy upgrade. If it was possible, I would have stuck with my 5100. But the reason why I have the 5600 is because basically it was the upgrade to the 5100, right? So as you can see here, I'm gonna put it on the screen. This is my 5600, right? I have my manual 50mm lens on. It is a third-party lens. I believe it's a Sigma lens, right? This is my manual 50, right? For my other lenses, I have the stock 18 to 55, right? Just in case you want to see it. And it also came with this lens, which I almost never use because I don't shoot from this far. I probably should learn to do that. But again, that's not something that I'm ready for just yet. I'm really not ready to shoot from that kind of range. I just don't have that kind of style to say, right? So on my 5600, I shoot mostly manual. This is a completely manual lens. That's what I mostly shoot with, or shoot with like the 18 to 55 if I'm really feeling like whatever. But I mostly shoot manual because I like controlling my lights. I like controlling the tone of my colors and things like that. I love photography. I love posing and playing, whether it's people or toys, right? So that covers the camera portion of that. And the reason why I mention all this stuff is because with the camera part, like I said, I was able to do that with just the phone. So let's say you think that's a one-off fluke, right? Let's take Trenchcoat Ichigo. So we're gonna pose up Trenchcoat Ichigo. We're gonna try to get him in a very, not very dynamic, but dynamic enough that way it'll pick up on the camera the different angles and stuff. So we have the best blind boy being a detective, or at least a bare bone street fighter, right? And we're gonna take my camera back out, enter my password off camera. And then again, right? So look, this is a downward angle. Let's take another one from, lights all in the way. And I had to evenly light it because my above light is acting up. So let's get it at this angle, right? And then let's say your phone has something like portrait mode, right? Move further away. As you can see, we have some options here. So it doesn't always have to be like super duper crazy DSLR quality, but there you have it. And then now we can get into stuff like lights. As you saw in the reflection, I have a ring light in the background. It helps light my area evenly. I have some lights on the sides here. It's a small little ring light over there. And these will just light my area. I don't even, like, I know I use them for my videos, but back here is my stage light. That's where all my color lights come from. As you can see, it is the Slim Par Q12 TB, right? I actually have two of those, and I like them as background lights. That's because, again, I enjoy light. I enjoy changing up my lights, having different moods. You don't have to have all these things. I just really enjoy these things. But personally, there's going to be a video I'm going to put in the description. It helped me over 10 years ago, showing you proper lighting. It's called 3-point lighting, where you have, as you set it up like a triangle, you'll have lights on each end, then you have your forward light, and then you can change it to whether you want it to be a background light to show light coming forward, or vice versa. But it's basically like always having an isosceles triangle of light. How you focus that light will focus the mood of your shots. It changes everything, right? So I think that covers light. Oh, let's play with toys and talk about posing. Let's do that. Because we're at like the 10-minute mark, I'm gonna take a fake break here. I'm gonna keep powering through, but I'm gonna realize that I'm gonna fake break it here. And then I'm gonna get some water, my chill, and then you guys will jump back into it. We can get into the posing. All right, we've covered a bunch of stuff. Now let's cover some meat and potatoes. This is the nitty-gritty. I get asked these questions a lot. How can I get better at posing? How can I be better at posing? Or what are some tips about posing? Stuff like that. I know you guys see me pose stuff on camera all the time. I'm always playing with toys, always studying anatomy. I'm watching training videos. I'm training myself. I try not to do poses that I can't do. So I try to always stick around with poses I can do. And trust me, if you've ever seen the references, I look crazy sometimes. I look absolutely crazy. But yes, let's talk about it. As you can see, we have Power Pose Ichigo. So Power Pose Ichigo is on a black skull body. It has the old boy Ichigo head and a Atticus Doom trench, looking cool as hell, right? And Trichiko and Ichigo has excellent articulation because it's on that Gomez style body, right? So you can do lots of cool things with him. And as you can see here, it kind of just comes out naturally for me. But again, so stuff like this, I've studied for a long time. But let's say you were doing like a cool jumping pose like this, right? We know for a fact if he's coming from above, the jacket flows up. If you are jumping forward, the jacket should flow in the direction of the wind. So that's opposite of the direction he's moving in. So these are the things like you kind of just want to look out for in studying proper anatomy. So let's say he's running like now. You can turn the wrist this way because he might be prepping for a punch, but if he's not, you can turn the wrist like that way. There's always little minor things that you can do to kind of take that extra step, right? Look, angles and ankles, right? Even stuff like stand-in posing, right? We'll put Ichigo aside and we'll use even Hydro Man. Let's use Hydro Man. With Hydro Man, standard posing is very easy, but sometimes it could be overlooked, right? So here, with our arms, he's gonna be a little top heavy, but as you can see here, stuff like this, his posture seems okay, but till you look at it to the side, he shouldn't technically like poke out like this. Nobody pokes their spine out like inverted. Well, that's not true. Some people do, and they can't help it, and that's not right. But for normal anatomy, what you want to do is you want to make sure the knees are slightly bent, just a little bit. You want to press him forward, and depending on his demeanor, if he's looking like directly at a character, it's okay to keep him at eye level. But if you want him to look a little bit more menacing, just like this, a slight head tilt, tongue-tied, a slight head tilt makes all the difference, right? So here we are, posed up naturally. Now I'm gonna show you a quick trick, right? So, see how that changes the mood, just the lighting alone? Light on, light off, right? Even if I turn it down. And there's little like things like that that you kind of wanna maybe keep an eye out for. But as you can see here, it's poking out a little bit less, better posture. A little bit more menacing with the head tilt, but let's say you don't want the head tilt. You want to look straight up. Now it looks like he's looking at eye level to a person his height, which is okay. Now, stuff like MODOK, Mecha G, and Iron Wrecker, or even stuff like Transformers. So here's my boy Lift Ticket. Lift Ticket usually sits on my desk. So for robots, right? This is tricky because robot anatomy doesn't count for anything. Robots could do whatever the hell they want, especially stuff like Transformers. Transformers follow human anatomy for the most part, but these are guys who could also contort their waist when transforming. So you don't have to follow any real rules with Transformers. That's just my opinion. So please don't try to come for me. But let's say you were following the rules of human anatomy and you had your Transformer. Lift Ticket could lift his head up just enough. Got the pistol arm, right? And you can fold his arms out. So as you can see, even with his feet not touching the floor here, he's posed up enough to look like he's power posing. Because now we've framed it in a way that, let's say in the frame, you've now cut that out, right? but you haven't power posed just enough to show off a cool lift ticket photo just by framing it up. So let's try to follow up in phone, right? Let's try to follow up on the phone and get that same style, right? Let's turn my camera. Yep, looks good. Power posed. Boom, just like that. Let's capture that. We've captured our moment with lift ticket. Now, I'm trying to capture it on my DSLR, right? So, I may not have enough lighting though. Actually, I took that one way out of focus, sorry. I may not have enough lighting, but I'm gonna try. Let's see. Yeah, this one is poorly lit, even in manual, but look at that. Let's load it up. There we go. So there's lift ticket. And I like it. I do like it. It's just a little poorly lit, but that's my fault for shooting in manual right away. So even with robots, we can have our fun. We can stand them up. Ooh. Probably one of my favorite ones that sometimes robots can do really good running poses. I just don't think lift ticket can reach it because his ankle pivot turns in instead of outward. But a lot of times we can get good running poses. But let's say you had, let's do Mecha G real fast. So with Mecha G, Kaiju anatomy is a little different as well too, especially when they're Kaiju and robot. Let's actually fix my framing. Boom. Boom shakalaka. So Mecha G is a tough one for me because he has really tough joints. And I haven't really broke them in just yet. But I like doing the soft menacing stuff, right? Turning the head to the side, over the shoulder stuff, like this. I really like poses like this. But again, I haven't really broken mine in, so I don't know all the articulation just yet. But I do like this quick over the shoulder shot. Again, if we're framing it a certain way, boom. But let's say you wanted to get the tail in that shot, or at least part of the tail. Like we're gonna whip the tail up just enough that you can see it in the foreground, right? So now what I do is I take a step back just a little bit, right? And gonna change it. Ooh, wow, even my camera changed with it, so boom. So that's how we're gonna frame that one. Definitely even turn it up. Ooh, yeah, see? So this is nice. I got ideas now. So Mecha G is pretty cool. But let's say you wanted to do like a fight pose or a fighting against another character. I bring out Ultraman just for that, because I love doing Ultraman versus Mecha G shots. Fighting is a little different, especially for me because I like to do against all odd shots. Fighting should be like, it should be like old school Chinese movies. Because there's two ways of doing it. You can do it the modern way, MMA style, where it's kind of like it's a real combat scenario, but with training, versus assuming like it's visceral and brutal. So with something like Mecha G, it's an Ultraman, it's a little bit more brutal, at least in my opinion. So with that, let's say he's defending himself against Mecha G. I didn't swap out any hands or anything, but if he had open hands, it would be Mecha G versus him, looking down on him like this. And I really like how this setup is. This is like a nice simple one. I want to get those feet flat though, right? So we have feet flat, going head to head, hand in hand, literal. Kind of like when Kong fought him. So it's overpowering. He's bigger than, it's an insurmountable odd situation. But with Ultraman, they do a lot of chops, kicks, and gut punches. So let's say he broke out of the hold. So let's do the actual motion, right? So Ultraman breaks the hold, Mecha G falls back, and you want to follow up with the chop. So see, the body would twist, and then we follow up. Anatomy-wise, we do like an actual follow-up punch. So that means extension of the leg, extension of the arm, and arm comes back, and then we actually throw a punch. Head tilt just a little bit, and then a punch to the chest. And that's how you follow up, like anatomy-wise. And that would be like a next shot in my photo. So it would go from Hands together, break. Oh, he would have broke his wrist that day. That would have been a poor punch. That would have been poor posture. But a open arm chop, I would have had like a chop hand. Or let's say you want to move to the side like it was a chop. You add the chop hand. You add the motion for the chop by moving across. Because the chop would be like a backhand chop. So you would get ready to chop here. Arm up, boom. So hopefully, like, the way I'm saying this actually is explained to you guys. I don't know. I'm not a very good teacher. I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to teach the way that I know how to do things. So hopefully this will help everyone, right? Let's put this back. Now, let's say you have a big mech, like, well, it's not a big mech, it's 1/18 scale, but I like to use these robots for everything. So this is the Iron Record for Joy Toy. This is a nice, fun one. Because you could take the arms out. You don't have to run the risk of like breakage. I really like that. Has a lot of nice anatomy. Open cockpit too, in case you can't see it. Twisting side to side, a little bit of wiggle. Also, this can be like used in different robots. So, ooh, I like that I can swap it without having to repaint anything. I can make a composite robot. So with this, I try to follow the policy of bigger is not always better, but I like that this can work in different scales. Let's put our cockpit helmet down. But I just like posing robots really cool ways. There we go. So with Iron Wrecker, look, so Iron Wrecker, it's almost like, because there's a person piloting it, but more importantly, this robot moves like a human anatomy, because if it moved, like, let's say, I'm gonna keep him there, but let's say he moved actually like this, where it was like left leg forward, left arm forward, right? If you move like that in a robot, even as a human, if you move like that, your body would start you to tilt over, right? So that's why you walk the way you walk. This is why when you walk, ooh, let's pop that back on. And by the way, this is from, oh my God, why am I forgetting names now? Miko Suave. So this is my Blue Marvel custom, made by Miko Suave, but designed by Brian Carpio. Brian, if you're watching, I still owe you some photos. I've taken them. I just got to find the memory card they're on. So the reason why you walk like this, and I love making Blue Marvel walk like this because it looks fantastic, right? It's because anatomy wise, it looks really good, but more importantly, it keeps you from falling over. This is very important. This is why when you walk, even on toys, the reason why you can balance, and Jay does it really well because he'll get that heel toe in there as well. The reason why is that it really works. It's human anatomy will not fail you in toys. It just won't. Look at that. So, sorry about that. I don't know why I went low. That was weird. But yeah, let's turn it, there we go. Sorry about that. I didn't realize it got dark. I was too busy looking at the toys and not my screen. Sorry about that, y'all. But yeah, most of the time, unless you like have giant water arms, human anatomy will not fail you. So this is what we do. So with robots, I like him looking like this because you can get ready to like prep a giant punch as we get ready, but he can't look up. So you have to like excuse yourself for things like that. So what you do is you kind of prep and make him look like, oh, what's coming at me? Because let's say you have senses anywhere. You're going to prep it because it's a robot. But I really do love the Joy Toy stuff. And I'm going to try to review more of it, even if it's just quick stuff. But the Iron Wrecker is a 1/25th scale. But honestly, it could work well with 6-inch stuff, 1/18 scale stuff. It is a good robot. I like taking these off, but I don't have the extra parts for it just at this moment. So let's put these back on before I lose them. Speaking of Blue Marvel, let's say you wanted to capture flight poses, right? There is the one-armed flight pose. And I don't think the pants leg can get all the way up. So can't get all the way up. But head pose wise, we in there. So most of the time, flight poses, one-armed, here you go. Depending on how you do it, you got that little bit of tilt to the side. You got the knee bent. Usually feet are back, but this is a Mezco, so it doesn't have that. Well, these are Mezco boots, sorry, from Punisher. So it doesn't have that full tilt back. But there we go. That is a one-armed flight pose. And then if you want to do the two-armed, you can do it knee up or not, depending on how this person is flight capable, whether it's like self-propelled or otherwise. But here we go. What else can I cover? Ooh. Oh, you know what? Since I have Boss here and he doesn't pose as well as people say he does, we'll use him as an example of what to do when your character doesn't have the articulation you want. And then I can, I guess, wrap it up from here, right? I think I've covered the main three. And sorry, I don't think there'll be pictures at the end. I kind of squeezed this video in the best way I could. And if anything, I'll add a photo of Ichigo or the cats or something. But yes, so let's say you have Boss here. Boss is here doing boss stuff. Most of the time, Black Series stuff is usually single jointed or doesn't have the articulation you need. I don't know why, but I really like this figure, and I shouldn't, but I do. I don't know. Maybe it's because I love Republic Commando. But stuff like leaning and tilting over. Like, look, let's say you're doing the corner peak, right? The corner peak's a little bit more difficult for him. As you can see, he can't get that arm flat. But let's say you have these two here. And then we have the Umbra Trooper here. Shout out to Jodo for this. I could have used any other figure. I don't know why I chose him anyway, but maybe it's my brain processing. But as you can see with the peek over, if you are covering or framing it a certain way, you can excuse this part, because what's going to happen is the way you frame it, like now, as you can see here, it's only going to cover the upper torso. That's if you're going to focus on him. Now, if you focus on Umbra, as you can see, I tapped there to focus on Umbra. Focusing on Umbra means Umbra needs to be doing something other than just standing there. So like most unwilling NPCs, Umbra will do something like, oh, let's look the other way. What was that sound? I'll go over this way and do something. And Umbra doesn't have that really good articulation either. So we have that single jointed knee, that not so good movement, but I'm gonna try to make it look as good as possible. I just like the color scheme for this. But let's say Umbra's off to do something. And let's not make him lean on anything. Let's make him actually stand. But let's say he's off to do something. So now, when you take this shot, because Umbra is, let's say you focus on Umbra, now what you can do is you take less focus off him. Or you can do both and just back up a little bit, get them both in frame, then take it from a certain angle. So as you can see, angles make all the difference. Oop, there's light there. Let's fix that. Back up light, just a little bit. But as you can see, angles do make a difference, right? So make sure you try out different angles when you're doing stuff. It's very important. Don't always just try to get it in one shot. Take multiples, have fun. You know, make sure you explore. And I think that covers most of the simple stuff for now. I'll try to cover more fighting pose stuff, or, you know, put stuff in the comments. Let me know what you think. Like I said, the wife will read it. I will tell you now, don't piss her off. She will block you. Don't do that. Don't do that at all. She don't care. I care, but she don't care. She cares about my peace more than y'all. But no, on the real though, like, I am glad to do this. This actually made me feel a lot better today. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, hopefully I can keep making these once a month, maybe even twice a month if I really can like get it in. So I'm sorry, I'm making a mess. But just want to take out a bunch of figures, try some cool stuff, hopefully get the people to learn things. So if you need more help, put those questions in the comment section, or you can email it, or whatever the normal ways of contacting me, but normally it's email. What can I say? It's been a tough year so far. It has, but helping people brings me joy. It does. So with that being said, I hope this has helped you. I hope you are okay, and if you're not okay, that's fine too. Hopefully it'll get better, because most things are temporary, most of them. And the things that aren't, hopefully you find peace and silence once they are over in the long haul, or, you know, part ways with it when you can. The world is a tough and brutal place, but most of us find love where we can, and I hope you are staying out of trouble. Please, as always, be good, do good, drink your water, guys. Later. Doing what Riley does, because somebody decided that one brother doing it was too much. So here she is, Ginger. Hi, Ginger. Hi, Ginger. Hi, Ginger. Ruining all my review time. Hi, Ginger. Boop. So cute.